All right.
Alrighty. So basically, if we go to the instructions, I had those pulled up here somewhere. Basically, it just wants us to create a table. I've already kind of mapped it out. It just wants us to create a note. And I have primary keys of IDs for session, speaker, conference, and user. And then let me pull up the instructions here really quick. Yeah. So these are the core requirements. Design it visually. I did mine in Vertibello. It's just easier for me. And it, all right, so system must track notes for multiple users. It does right here. You can see that we have a user that has a name and a password, and that goes into the primary key of the foreign key of user ID. The speaker should be tracked separately from the conference, and there's an individual speaker with a name that goes back to the note of foreign key of speaker ID. Individual sessions of conference, Sunday morning, afternoon, need not to be tracked. I did that anyways, but it says you can do it by year and month. So I did conference, and then I have year, and then I have spring. So, you know, if spring is set, then that means it was done in the spring. If not, then it was done in the fall. Since it happens same time every year, I didn't figure that mattered. I could use Boolean. And then I do have a session too. I created a session because I think that's part of the stretch challenge. To create sessions, and I just created, is it a morning or is it a Saturday? So it's either afternoon or it's morning, and it's either a Saturday or a Sunday. I didn't count any other conferences as far as like priesthood or anything like that.
Women's
like
or anything.
Yeah, or women's, like a Friday. I just didn't count that. I didn't think that applied in this circumstance. Speaker conference, I already did that. And then multiple notes per user. Again, that ties in the user has the individual note. So the note can be made by a billion users. It doesn't matter. So I did that. So I did log into mine. The easiest way I found to do it, because I'm just lazy, is I opened up the LTS from the installer that we got. And you can just navigate to the table, and you can just click on the little plugin, and it like opens up for you exactly where it's supposed to be. So I have a database called Heroku on my local machine. That way I can build out kind of my SQL database, and then I can just transfer the script over to my my website. But basically I did it in conference right here. I built out a database, and visually you can see there's a conference, has all the IDs that are already noted, the note, session, speaker, and user. And I already saved I can put this in the Slack if you guys want, but I already saved the each command that I used for each table. And then I just used a serial on every ID. That way it auto increments and I don't have to worry about it. And then I created the tables, and at the very end, I added the foreign keys for the constraints that I have. So anyways, I'm gonna log in here, open this up. And what else? I already did that. I already added appropriate keys. Do you guys have any questions, or do you want me to go through some of it?
Well, I don't really know. What's the foreign key thing? How does that work?
Okay. All right. So let's pull it up visually. It's just easier to describe.
Yeah, that was in that little video we had to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah. So basically, you have your primary key of every single table. So this is a table, this is a table, 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 table. And within each table, there's a list of values. So the ID is the primary key. That says what's the basically the number or association that will always be unique to this table. So there can't be two numbers of the same. So if I have 10 users, they all have to have a different ID. That's why I made it a serial. So every time I create a new user row, I can show you that here visually. For example, a new user right here. Just in this LTS, if you go up here and you click view the data, you can view individual rows. So I have a table, it's called user. The ID auto increments. So if I create a new user right here, I don't have to type anything in, I'll just create Brian. It's gonna be the name, because that's the value, and password is blob. And then you save it, and if you update it, you'll see that the ID automatically input itself. So they always have to be unique, can never replicate in the same table. What the foreign key does is it takes the primary keys or other uniquely identifying information from other tables. So you can see here, we have the note, and it has all these things tied into the note. Each note has a user, each note has a session, each note has a speaker, each note has a conference. And so what it does here is if we go into note and we go to edit the rows, you'll see that it has its own individual primary key and they're all uniquely different. And then it has a text that's just local to the note, but you have a user ID. So this number 1 ties into this user over here of number 1. So that way you can say, hey, this is user number 1, which equals Jason. What's the conference? That'll equal, if we go over to conference and we look at that data, number 1 is that it's 2018 and it's in the fall because spring is false. What's the speaker? And it goes through and it goes to the speaker and it says, go to the speaker. What number is it? This one is number 1, Elder Uchtdorf. I didn't spell anything right. If those are spelled right, yay. If not, I'm sorry.
You actually did spell Uchtdorf right, which is one of the harder ones.
Sweet. He was my favorite. I hate to have a favorite, but he's been my favorite forever. Anyways, so you can see here, the speaker ID is a number 2. That'd be President Eyring. So that's the difference. Do you guys understand that foreign key principle now?
Yeah, so what does the SQL look like for a foreign key?
Okay, so that looks like a altered here, right here. All right, so the reason why you create the tables first, so that you have something to link them. So you create each individual little box, and then you come down here and you alter the table, and you say alter table for the note, and you're gonna add the constraint to user. The foreign key is user ID, and it references the user ID. So in the model of that, you have the note, and then it has a kind of a little integer field in here called user ID that pulls from this user table right here. And it pulls from this ID section just like that. Does that make sense? That's what the SQL looks like. It's basically just adding a constraint to the ID and you're referencing it.
So was this shown in that video? Because like
this was all in that that walkthrough, that tutorial that they had. Sorry, I have a beagle in the background.
Was that in the advanced part?
Yeah, that was in the reading. Let me pull that up here.
Because I didn't do the advanced part of the tutorial.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of, let me pull this here. Where's the reading? This reading. right here. In the reading, you can see right, it's understand the fundamentals right here. It says follow this tutorial. And that pulls you up to this, and it goes through each what a foreign key is. So right down here, so it goes to a foreign key, and it should have the alter table where I got it from. Where I go?
Now, what's that software that you're using to mess with
Vertibello.
No,
Vertibello.
the other one for your sequel.
It's the PG Admin 3 LTS. It comes with the installer for Windows.
Okay, I didn't somehow I totally missed that. I have no idea what you're looking at here.
Oh, right here. So if you just are you on Windows?
Yeah.
So if you just type in like LTS, it'll pull it up. And each SQL database has like a kind of a workbench, or that workbench is what's called in
It's
MySQL.
LPS Lima Papa Sierra.
It's on my screen right here. Lima Tango Sierra.
LTS.
Yeah.
For some reason I've got like stupid bad LTS. Yeah, I'm not coming up with that.
For me, it doesn't show like LTS. It just show PG admin. So maybe you can see that.
Okay.
PG
yeah.
admin.
So PG admin. There we go. Yeah, it pulls up and it looks like that. That's the name of it. So it's basically just like a visual viewer. It's just helpful. I mean, kind of like the file explorer. Yeah, you can do everything in command prompt. But sometimes it's just quicker to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So this is I've always used like MySQL or MS SQL.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, so what you do is you click this button, this add connection to a server. Right there. Pulls up this, and then you just add in all the information.
Okay. Is everybody able to read that? Because it is like super blurry on my screen. I don't know if that's because I'm the one who's hosting or what.
It's pretty blurry.
Oh, really?
It's fine for me.
I mean, I can read it just barely.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Blurry.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry about that. Then.
Oh, it's not your fault. It's kind of the nature of the beast.
Yeah, but if you guys go to your Heroku app, it's one of these. I guess it's fun. If you go to your Heroku app and you open it and you go to settings, you can actually go and it'll say the, how did I find that?
It's resources.
Yeah, resources, and then you click on the SQL. Sorry, I did that fast. So you go to resources and click on the SQL right there, pulls this up, and then you can go to settings and it'll give you the database credentials. You just click on that, view credentials, and it'll give you all the information that you need: the host, database, user, port, password, etc. And so you can actually use that Postgre to connect in how I did with this, just by using this add connection button. You pop it up, and then you just input all the information from there to there, and it just connects, and it pops down. And the way it's laid out, let's see if I can make this bigger. I don't know. No. I can't make it any bigger, but it's laid out. It's under servers. Then it'll give the Heroku. Then you go to database. You have to scroll. I found like I have like 1 billion of these, and I only have access to mine. It shows like everybody on the server. But it'll show you access to yours, and then you click on the database, and then it just goes schema, public, tables. And you can add tables here. You can create a table if you want. Right click, new table, add it like that. I don't recommend that. None of the settings will be right. So I would use the SQL commands for that. So, all right, and and then just insertion of data, if we want to go through that.
I mean, yeah, we can. Like, this is all pretty foreign to me. I'm honestly probably just gonna need to go through that tutorial on my own.
Okay. Well, if you guys have any questions or you want to go through it on yours, and I can help you out on it. I mean, I have time. I don't care.
What does everybody else say?
It's okay for me.
Yeah.
I don't have much time, but it's okay for me if you guys want to go through it. It's fine.
Okay. Well, hey, let's do it from scratch. Let's start up. Mark, if you want to screen share on yours, and we can just do it on yours, and I'll be like the
Okay.
background voice.
All right.
I've already I have a funeral this weekend, so I did all my homework for
Oh,
like the
geez.
next 2 weeks. Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine. It is my grandfather was he was just kind of like with dementia. He hasn't been there for years, and so
Oh.
it was more of a blessing than anything. He didn't know, like basically couldn't even move his head, kind of thing. He was gone.
That's the way my grandma was.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but I will be gone. Yeah. So
Okay. So so in the tutorials here, where do I start with this?
okay. So I would start with the requirements of the team activity.
Oh,
Okay, so I already have those, but here, let's do this. Okay. I'm gonna take a snapshot of this and put this in the All right, so I just posted the visual into Slack. So that's the visual diagram of how it's supposed to look. Everything fits together. And then that's the whole shebang on that for the user.
another picture.
Yep. No. It's the actual text for creating the SQL commands.
Okay. And so what do I enter these into?
So go into the search, type in your search bar in the bottom left-hand corner, type in PG, and then it should just pop up, PG admin.
Okay, yeah, because I've tried to open this a couple times just
Yeah.
now, and it's been giving me
Oh,
an error
no,
message.
you know what?
Actually.
That's not the right one. So that was PG admin 4. I don't have that.
Well, I have that one. It works fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The only thing that I think it's weird, it's they don't open an actual program. It just opens like a web program, but it's the same thing.
Okay.
Because I've mine hasn't been opening anything here.
It just freezes at that.
It'll come up with an error message in a second, unless it's just gonna screw with me and start. Yeah, see the application.
You know what? Bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, click OK. I want to see, huh? Yeah, click on that up arrow. It looks like it's already. Whoa, that's freaky.
I guess not.
Huh? Must have installed like a different version. I don't know. Let me open up my control panel. See what I got. Well, I mean, we could do it the long way. So if you open up your SQL, your SQL. If you open up your command prompt and you type, let me see. Oh gosh, find this really quick. Sorry.
You're good. Yeah, see, I'm just kind of starting to wonder if I even did the install right. I'm kind of a little concerned about that.
Did you install the right version, like 64 bits or whatever, for your machine?
I thought I did, because this is a 64-bit 64-bit machine. And I did install the 64-bit, but it's like nothing on this seems to be working for me.
Oh, sorry, I'm kind of crashing now. I can't remember where I found that. There's a way to connect it through the command prompt. I'll have to find where it's located on one of these documents. And try opening up that installer as admin. So type in PG and then right click and like run as admin.
Okay.
Yeah, right click that and then there should be like a run as an administrator or something.
So dumb that this is an option that you have to select.
I don't know if it'll fix it. I was just guessing.
Oh, it's just like the entire concept is what I'm jabbing at.
Yeah, I did everything through this, so it's trying to find out where to do it on the. I did it on the Heroku. It gives you like how to do it in the Heroku, and I was able to do it all through the command line on that. But to actually do it on my local console, like
When you guys when you did the install, it gives you that page with all the different options with things to install. Which ones did you select for the install? Was it just the 64-bit?
Yeah, I just installed the first one. I didn't install like the binaries or anything like that.
let me see.
So I just sent a message on Slack. I got to connect through the command prompt.
Yeah, so you can connect to the The Heroku, yeah, that's the Heroku, but the local, I haven't found how to do that without going through that.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? I also tagged, there's a underneath the selection, it says there's a little checkbox that I installed pgadmin 3 LTS. I checked that, and that's what also installed the that little GUI viewer kind of thing. So, but yeah, we can do it through here. If you want to just do it through Heroku, we can just.
Okay. Should I use command or the bash?
I just use the command. It worked for you once. Just CD
Okay.
to wherever your repository is.
Oh, hang on. Okay.
Just try Heroku space PG colon B SQL.
Was it?
P as Papa SQL SQL.
And go.
Yeah, you're connected.
Cool.
Okay, and then you can just type in create DB here, and then the DB name. Put that in chat.
Well, I think for Heroku, we don't have permissions to do that. They just give us some.
Oh, so the DB is already created in Heroku. Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Yeah. You just have to create the.
The tables.
Yep.
So,
So
choose one of those sections in the Slack that I posted in. For example, the create table user, end at the semicolon, and you can just copy and paste and put that in. So just that first little from the table user. Just copy and paste, yep, from there up. And then, nope, all the way to the left too. Got to get that create table in there. Yep, right there. Just copy, and then you can just paste that in, and that'll create, and then just
You
put a
forgot
colon?
the
Semicolon? You can just do it right now. Put a semicolon and enter. It won't finish the command until you're done. So now you created the table. So
okay.
now you can do the rest of them and it'll create the rest of the tables, but basically that table is created.
How do I view it? Just
so you can do here, let me type out this command here. Query. So it's a select star from
Well, that way you're actually selecting data from the table.
yeah, it'll just show them empty data if you can do it. So should be able to do that command right there. So that's a select. That's like kind of selecting data. I think there's like a select database, and it'll let you.
And which, so did you when you did yours, you used the other the PG admin?
I just use that to connect in through the command line. That's the only thing. Everything else I did through the commands. Like that command right there, I copied and pasted that in, and that creates the user. And then in the next tutorial, it goes over inserting data. And I did that too. I had to reference it though. I'm not that good where I just know how to insert it.
So I would say insert into user.
And then it's the parenthesis or the open
values,
yeah.
parenthesis.
Yeah, that's right.
Then
you choose the value. So it'll automatically do the ID, so you don't have to do it. So you just have to do name, comma, password.
Name, comma, password. Like, do I come up with my own password or?
Yeah. So you'll come up with your own your own name and your own password. No, so you have to do. There's two parts to that. You have to list what you're going to enter, and then you actually have to list what you are entering.
Name, Mark, password.
No, hold on. There's a format for it. I gotta copy it.
I think that's gonna return a syntax error because he didn't do the semicolon on the line above.
Yeah. So you just gonna have to delete that and put a semicolon in, or just put a semicolon right now and just take the error. There you go. Where did I find that? Inserting. Populating a table with rows. Okay, so here's how it's gonna look. Okay, that's straight from that PostgreSQL documents, and it's populating a table with rows. That's where I got it from. Right here. I'll post that in Slack also. That's where I got it from. That's in the readings. But basically, you go to insert into, and then you do the table name, which would be user. And it doesn't have to be capitalized. No, it doesn't. They do it like for good quality, or what do you call it? Proper syntax, yeah, but you don't have to have it capitalized. Into user, and then the open parentheses. Then you put the value, so it'll be name, comma, password, close it, and then you put values, and then that's where you actually put the values in. So space, and then you say values, and then you do have to do for any text, you have to do the
single quote.
Yeah, single quote, but if it's an integer, you can just put the integer, and then comma, and then quote, and then the password. And your insert is spelled incorrectly, so after you're done, just go back and fix that.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Well.
Get good practice.
Yeah. Right.
And then what I did is I just took that command and I just copied and pasted it into a notepad, and I just filled it out like all the way in the command prompt, and then I just copied and pasted it into SQL, and it just does it all. All right, so now what you can do is you type in that first select I did. So say select star from user. Huh?
He's forgetting the semicolon.
Semicolon. Oh yeah, delete all that.
Semicolon.
Or your user. When you created it, what'd you call it? Was it? It is case sensitive.
It's user with a capital U.
User. Let me see. I think mine. Let me go through it.
I don't think it's supposed to have quote marks.
Oh yeah, I think user is actually a reserved word for Postgre, so you have to use the quotes.
So where does it do it? I
So
think it puts it as
I actually
public.
have to put quotes in there?
Public.user is how I ended up having to do mine because it is reserved. I found that after the fact. And so type in, so just push an up arrow and then go back to user and type in, so go down. Yeah, okay. There we go. And so type in public.user where the user is. That's how, so it does create it, but it creates it under public.user.
Like that?
Okay, try that. Yep.
Should I take the quotes out, or are we?
I'll just leave it. It should be fine. Okay, maybe take the quotes out. I was guessing.
Is this insert 01 a good
thing? That did it. Yeah, no, that means it did it. Yeah, so now you can do the select message. Yeah. Yeah, so the insert means it did it. Select star and then space from space quote music or user. Don't forget semicolon.
Stupid.
And there you go.
Cool. Neat. Okay.
Nice. Hey guys, I have to go, but
all right. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's this is a good start for me.
All right. So you can just in the rest of the, you can just copy that whole thing. Just since you already created the user, you can just copy the rest of that and just paste it in, and it'll do all of those for you.
Okay.
But anyways, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll try to help.
All right. I appreciate it, man.